What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video of Summertime Outdoors, and we are back. We are back in the beautiful state of Florida. As you can see, we got bluebird skies, 80-degree weather, the sun is shining, and after the last 2 months of my terrible winter in Maryland just basically consisted of me working and slamming yellow perch for 2 months, and that was about it. So I am excited to try to catch some snook, tarpon, redfish, sea trout. Super simple video, just backcountry fishing. First day back in Florida, and we're close to home today and had to use the Forerunner because the old Tacoma, I broke all the U-joints and the driving axle needs to be replaced as well. So that is getting done in the shop today. So we were just going to be fishing super close to home, but I'm planning on going to the Keys, Everglades, going all over the state of Florida over the next 3 weeks. So this is just the beginning. So let's get to fishing, stop the yapping, and hopefully slay some big snook off these docks right here. So let's go. All right, y'all. Well, we have a 100 baits Hundo and a Jigging World Night Ranger 7-foot medium rod. And we're gonna be starting out by throwing this little Z-Man Hercules around, and hopefully the snook will take liking to that. I usually do really well with 3 to 4 inch paddle tails in the backcountry, as most people probably do. So let's get up to these docks and catch some fish. All right, let's see what we got for, I didn't even check the forecast today. This is actually a new app from Salt Strong. It's a smart fishing app, and it's what I use to check all my tides and stuff. We don't want to update anything, but where are we at? Okay, let's see. Should have a good, the tide is low now. I'll have an incoming tide until about sunset, and the strike score is only 5.8, so we'll see if we can prove that wrong today and hopefully slam some fish. But it has been, although for me it hasn't been cold, but for Florida it has definitely been chillier recently. And a cold front down here is like 40 degrees at night, and it was 40 degrees last night. So we've had a really good sunshine all day though, like 78, 79 degrees. Today it should get up to 80 while we're out here, so the water should warm up. And what I'm hoping is the snook will get active as this darker water back here heats up. All right, I'm just gonna make long casts down the edge of the mangroves here, because usually in the summer months I'm skipping into the shade because they're trying to cool down because the water is so warm. But right now I feel like they're going to be pressed out a little bit because it's low tide, 1, and 2, it's been pretty cold, so they're going to want to be in the sun on top of some mud or something warming up on some dark bottom. And there's a little cut back here that goes back, way back, and I've always done really well with some snook and tarpon back there. Sometimes if you're lucky, some manatees will be getting it on back there, so maybe that'll be something to see, but only time will tell. Is there an abandoned child in back there? There's a fish. Would you look at that? Monster snook. It's always good to see some healthy young little fish. We are on the board with the first snook of the year on the little Herc baby. And I don't know, there's a child crying in the woods. I have no idea what's really going on. I don't know what that's about, but we caught a fish. We are on the board. There's something decent. Is that a big trout? No, it's snook. I got really horned up there for a second. There we go, something decent. You, buddy, yeah. Such a fun fight. on that light tackle. All right, y'all, well there is a nice little snook right there. Crushed that 3-inch swim bait. We're gonna get a release on her, but we did see a bigger snook than this as well as 2 others. So let me give you guys a proper look at this release. And as that water keeps warming up, these fish should get more and more active, and we're getting into a deeper stretch. There's a lot more pilchers and bait along these mangroves, so hopefully we'll run into an even bigger one, a slot fish or even over slot, because I have seen a couple of those around, and we have some docks coming up too that always hold fish. So we're gonna keep chucking this little Z-Man herc around, and hopefully as this incoming tide keeps coming in, these fish get more and more active. But let's go. And also something to think about is all the snook I've seen have been sitting in and around darker patches like grass or little mud flats throughout these mangroves. And that's something really anywhere on the East Coast, if you're looking for early spring warm-ups or even winter warm spells, you're going to want to find some shallower, darker colored bottom, and that's always going to hold fish no matter where you are. There's another nice snook right there. Probably the one we just missed. Let's see if there's any in here. Yep. Dark bottom in there. That one was not shy. Look at that bait all the way down its throat. This thing inhaled it. Okay. There's another beautiful little Florida snook. There might be another one up in that little pipe area though, so let's see. Thing was sitting right up in there, and that was a terrible cast. I mean, that was textbook, man. Completely textbook. Little dark bottom, little pipe, pushing some little bait out. Gotta love it when something you think like, oh, that looks good, and then you get friggin' piped. Oh yeah. The shoreline's producing some snook, that's for sure. A little bit shallower up on the shoreline. Maybe try casting a little further out. Might find some more snook. What the hell is that thing? What the hell is that? There he is. Oh, that was a nice snook. No, 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 no. Easily the biggest fish of the day. Ah, crud. Sometimes when you're drifting towards the fish, it's hard to get a good hook set. And that was one of those bigger ones. Oh, there was another one. Son of a... Well, that was pain. Complete and utter pain. That was a good fish. Maybe high 20-inch fish there. Oh, can't win them all. Cannot win them all. Right off that point, there was like a nice school of mullet, and that fish was sitting right with them. Oh, man. And we are getting into this nice little cove. And there's a fish. That was a very unnecessary hook set. First cast after tying a new knot. Probably don't need to net this little thing, but makes it a little easier. Another beautiful, little healthy, early time spring snookeroonie coming at you. And we're also on my new Hobie Outback. I don't think I've mentioned that, or this will probably be my first video in it, but I'm working with Delaware Paddle Sports. It's one of the biggest kayak dealers on the East Coast, and they do deliver to Florida and just about everywhere on the East Coast. So if you guys are interested in any of that, shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll give you more details about them. And since they're in Delaware, you got no tax on your kayaks. So that's another very good thing. And they have all the accessories and everything a kayak angler could want. So shout out to them for giving me the new kayak for 2025. So we're gonna be doing a lot of work with them, but hopefully we're gonna find one of these real snook that are 30 inches, 35 inches that we've been seeing. But this little swim bait is killing it today. Throw one right along these mangroves. It's pretty deep, close to these mangroves. And this little cove, before that snook interrupted me, there was one. Oh, there's one right here. Oh no! Another one. There's like 3 or 4 of them right there. There's another one. I don't know. Yeah, there's another one right there. There's 5 or 6 snook under there, and I guess none of them wanted anything to do with me or this bait. Oh, snook blowing up here on bait, up in the mangroves. We might have found a little honey hole right here, son. Might have found a little honey hole right here, but that is a terrible, terrible cast. Oh, there he is. Bunch of snook with him too. Okay, what do we got here? A school of snook. There's a bunch of other ones. Yeah, big snook just spooked from up. Oh yeah, there's snook everywhere. That's a decent one. The one that spooked had a giant wake. We just saw 5 or 6. Just found a pocket of freaking snook gold in here, buddy. Another one going back. Let's see if we can get some more to bite, because they were blowing up on little bait up in this corner right as I was pulling up. The one just missed it. He's on it still. That big snook must have been laid up under there, because that wake was insane. We might have found the mother lode. Every time I talk about this cove, I get interrupted by a fish, but I've caught a lot of nice snook and trout in here. And I think it's a little bit deeper, but it has some muddier bottoms back here. So I think it just warms up just a little bit quicker. And in the colder months, I've done really well back in here. But there is like a whole school of snook. That's that one I hooked, and a freaking big one just shot out of the mangroves. This point is looking really good with this wind current coming around it too, and all this bait. Try to bring it right on the edge of these mangroves. This little drop off. Yep. Like clockwork. Oh, a little acrobatic one here. Lots of dinks, but that one was sitting right where I expected one to be, which is always awesome when you can call your shot like that. See, there's another one sitting there. There he is. Oh yeah, look. I was like, why isn't that thing fighting? And it's because it's a freaking branch and not a fish. If you think I'm an idiot, comment below, because I just fought a stick for about 10 seconds and was fully convinced that it was a fish. Unreal. Absolutely mental. Oh, that's a fish though. It's a better snook. Good fish. Probably biggest one of the day so far. Oh yeah, nice snook. Once you go in the mangroves, oh fuck, it's great. Oh yeah, buddy. Oof. Yeah, buddy. Biggest one of the day for sure. All right, y'all. Well, we just caught a nice, probably 20-incher on that Hercules, and maybe not even 20 inches, but compared to the little ones we've been catching all day, a beautiful fish. And anytime I can catch a fish and it thumps the piss out of a swim bait, I'm gonna be a very happy camper. And that is a nice little snook, and my legs look about 10 times bigger in this frame than the fish. And there she goes. We have found the money cove. We're running into big schools of snook along the mangroves, and we're gonna have to retie again because snook always fray my leader. So let's get back to it, catch the bigger one. All right, we're chafed up, so we're going to retie here. And I'm using 10-pound Nomad braid to a 20-pound leader. These fish are pretty finicky today, so that is why I'm using lighter leader. Usually in the summer months when I'm throwing like top water and stuff, I'll bump it up to 30 or even 40 sometimes, depending on the size of the fish that I usually catch in that specific area. But today, mostly smaller snook. We've seen some 35 plus, and I do FG knots, so we're gonna wrap that around about 20 times. And I've been tying the FG knot for like 3 years, and I really don't tie anything else, honestly. And the thing with this FG knot is, if you do not do a good finish on it, it can slip on you. So I do one half hitch to tighten it up. Just tighten up those threads that we just put on there, like so. There you go. And then I do a risotto finish. So how you do that, make a little loop around the bottom of both the leader and the braid, and then you wrap 6 times, 6, and then pull that over top of the leader line like so, pinch it here, and then I do 4 wraps up with that loop of the braid, and I tighten it down, and that just holds that leader in there good, so it doesn't slip out, and that half hitch will stay in there really well. So if you don't know about the risotto finish, look it up. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where it shows you with like neon colored line, and probably explained it better than me, but that's just the leader knots that I always tie. And then you can never go wrong with the old Palomar, baby. It has never ever failed me. So let's get back to fishing. Alright, y'all, we're gonna push over to the other side of the cove. Got a new herc on after that fish just broke us off. Well, I think the leader is just frayed a little bit further up than where I retied, and on the bass fisherman hook set, you know, what are you gonna do? And tuck away back in here, this cut always seems to hold a few really nice fish. Got it that time. in my pedal drive. I can feel pumping it. Well, another hashtag little snook. Just a complete dingfest today. But oh no, first day down here, I mean, this is just getting reacquainted, because this is just a warm up for the friggin' fishing we're about to do the next 3 weeks. All right, y'all. Well, we are just about back to the launch. No more action at sunset, but all in all, for day one back in Florida, truck out of commission, coming out here just screwing around locally, I think we did pretty good. We probably got 15 to 20 small snook, but really the ticket was using that tiny little swim bait and just finding coves that had dark bottom and grass in it, and they were stacked up ready to eat today. And that's a lot of times what I find really anywhere on the East Coast, early spring, late winter, when you get a really good warm up and you can find some shallow dark bottom water on those flats, that's where those fish are going to be, and that's what they were doing today. But we are just getting warmed up because we are down here for 3 more weeks, and we're going to be going to the Keys, the Everglades, doing some big bass fishing. We're really going to do everything Florida has to offer, and I'm fishing every single day until the end of March down here. So I'm going to be putting videos out every Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern time. So if you guys want to tune into any of the Keys, Everglades content, which should be a lot of tarpon, a lot of awesome big snook stuff. So we have a lot of cool stuff in store. So I appreciate you guys for tuning into this one, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. See ya. That was super weird, but alright guys, see you in the next one.